Hi, I'm Dr. Steve Sinatra, and welcome to HeartMDInstitute.com. Today's myth is all about salt. Look, folks, you don't have to go bare bones on the salt to save your heart. Look, when I was in medical school, our professors used to tell us less than 2 grams a day for sodium. Now, 2 grams a day, that's a little bit meager. Let me give you an example. If I do a dill pickle, 1 pickle here, or if I, have 2 helpings of a can of soup, that's 2 grams right there. And suppose I had some potato chips, then it goes to maybe 2.5 to 3 grams. And if I go to my favorite fast food restaurant, get a flame broiled chicken and French fries, I'm up to 6 grams. Not a good choice, folks, not a good choice. But look, where did this whole thing about salt causing high blood pressure come from? Well, there were studies done years ago. For example, cultures or indigenous cultures of the Caribbean and the South Pacific, they would cook their foods or their fish in seawater. And a lot of these people became hypertensive. They were getting an enormous amount of salt, which is true. However, salt has a sweet spot. It's almost like cholesterol. You don't want it very, very low. You don't want it very, very high. And what happens with salt is this. If you don't have enough in your body, remember, we're electrical beings, and we need sodium because they help, what we call it the sodium-potassium pump, and basically we need it because we're electrical. So what happens here is that if you take too little sodium chloride in the diet, and you don't have enough volume expansion, because the sodium will cause volume expansion. That's why when you eat a couple bags of potato chips, you're really thirsty because now you want to drink in water. But if the sodium is too low, what happens is the kidneys don't get perfused that well, and we create renin, and renin sort of is the vasoconstrictor, and then a hormonal situation exists, and the blood pressure tends to go up, even when you're careful about sodium chloride. So basically, this is what you want to do. You want to avoid these foods, like I mentioned, that contain a lot of processed salt. You don't want to use a salt shaker on your foods if it's processed salt, but what you do want to use is sea salt. And I like Celtic sea salt. Why? Because Celtic sea salt basically has multiple minerals in it. Probably more than 75 minerals. Has iodine and manganese and selenium and sodium, and the list goes on and on. You get the minerals from the sea. You need these minerals for the health of the body. So what I like to do is use a combination of the real deal. It has lots of energy in it, and you can just do it on your food like that. But look, avoid the processed salts, avoid the canned soups, avoid the dill pickles, the flame broiled chickens, the potato chips. We don't need those type of foods in our diet. But if you want to use sodium chloride, use the Celtic salt. And this is the data, folks. Greater than 2.3 grams, but less than 5.5 grams is a sweet spot for sodium. What I recommend to my patients is 2.5 to 3 grams of sodium a day, preferably using something like a Celtic salt or a sea salt, because now you're going to get the minerals, the iodine, the energy. Remember, this comes from the sea. This has energy in it. And we want to energize the body. So don't go on this drastically low sodium diet. That can backfire on you. Don't use processed salts in the diet. Be cautious of the salt you use. Use the sea salts and the Celtic salts. From my heart to yours, I'm Dr. Steve Sinatra.